of their superiors in these left-wing areas scare the policemen to basically indicate, hey, don't intervene in a crime, don't stick your neck out, we don't want any trouble here. Better to just let crime ensue, and if you're a policeman yourself hearing this, why would you risk your life and your badge in order to protect someone if you know the city will be out for blood, your blood? And defund the police rhetoric doesn't just demoralize the police, but embolden the criminals. They know they can get away with more now. Look at Portland and how bad that is. Look at the autonomous zones in places like Seattle. Talk about lawlessness. I now want to touch on homelessness. This problem is getting much worse in Democratic-run cities. If you live in a red area, this likely doesn't affect your daily life very much, but in Democratic-run cities, you can't walk on the streets oftentimes because homeless are living there, there are discarded needles on the ground. I couldn't imagine even taking a young child for a walk in the streets of San Francisco. Those who live in this city wouldn't dream of it, not through the streets at least. While the water is beautiful there, people are much safer and happier in Republican areas. This homelessness issue is one of the reasons Californians hate Gavin Newsom. Homelessness has gotten much worse under his watch, and it's not just in San Francisco and LA. Those are hotbeds, but severe homelessness has spread into Riverside, many suburbs, and so on. And residents are fed up. In Republican areas, this is rarely an issue that infringes upon your daily life. So, what do we make of all of this? Life is clearly better in the red states for the average American, and Democrats know it. That's why they're moving to red states themselves. It is sometimes said that imitation is a form of flattery, but so is migration. If people want to migrate to certain places in a pattern, there's a reason why. Texas, Tennessee, Florida, homes are flying and people are offering above asking price. We could dive into that deeper in a whole other episode, but this is clear. We are living through a time of red flight, the Great Red Migration. Of course, the biggest concern is, will these people take their politics with them? Some who are moving from California to Texas, for example, are conservative. But those who aren't, Hollywood actors and so on, who love Austin, it's concerning. Will people realize why they're moving to these red areas, and by voting red, they can preserve what makes that red area great? Or will they see how much they love a red state, but then keep voting blue just like they did before? If that happens, before we know it, we'll see a pattern of conservatives making an area great and liberals moving in to ruin it. Then conservatives have to move again and make another area great. The liberals follow and the cycle continues. But how long can this go on? The cycle is clearly bad. It's a flawed formula. So we need to make sure that when people move from a blue area to a red area, they are red-pilled, as they say. So if you live in a red area and know someone who's recently moved there, take them to church with you, help them learn about politics so they can become politically active on the conservative side. We ultimately can't stop them from moving to red areas, since to do that we would have to make the red area unappealing to live in, and since the policies there are so great, that would never happen. So we have to convince these people, bring them into the fold. It's up to us. After all, we are the counterculture. I'd like